Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Today is March 9, 2010. For the record, could you please state your name and date of birth?
Edward Smith. Birthday is 7/15/76.
What branch of the military were you in?
I was in the United States Navy.
What was your rank?
I was a E3.
Can you elaborate? E3?
That was my rank. I was an electrician's mate. EM3 is what my classification was.
Okay. Were you drafted or did you enlist?
I enlisted.
Where were you living at the time?
Sarasota, Florida.
Why did you join?
Was looking for stability and just a good job.
Why did you pick the service branch you joined?
Nobody else would take me.
Do you recall your first days in service?
Huh?
Do you recall your first days in service?
My first days in service? Okay, my first days in service was kind of rough because it was boot camp. And I went there with an attitude of nobody could tell me anything. So, of course, when I went there, I was talking, playing around with the other guys. And one of the drill sergeants basically came out and told me off, per se. And that was the start of my first days in the service. We started off pretty rough.
Okay, are the rumors true about you not sleeping for 3 days, for the first 3 days? Is that true or false?
No, actually that's pretty true. Yeah, no sleep. you basically up for 3 days because they basically make you transform from civilian to enlisted. So you basically have to take away all your clothes, and they send all your clothes home. Whatever you came there with basically went back home for the first day, and then they teach you how to march. Then they teach you how to the line formation. Your starboard left, your starboard right, whatever they had to teach you in order to make you a functional soldier in the boot camp. So, yeah, 3 days that's true.
Do you remember your instructors?
Oh yeah, I remember. I had the best instructors in the boot camp.
Which one was your favorite instructor?
It definitely was my male instructor. His name was Petty Sergeant Graham. He was more understanding towards the some of the foolishness that went on. The female petty officer, she had two things going against her. She was a woman and she was short. So those two attitudes together, it was terrible.
How did you get through it?
Through the grace of God, really, because it was rough. It was really rough. It was rough for me because I had a bad attitude. And that one thing they structure their whole boot camp on is breaking your bad attitude. So I got through it because I was just, physically strong. So, and that's what they basically use to break you is your strength.
Where were you stationed at?
I was stationed in Mayport, Florida.
How did you like it?
It was all right. I mean, I'm from Florida. It wasn't too much of a change. I would prefer to be someplace besides Florida, But being in Florida, it was pretty much like home.
How many years did you spend in the service?
I spent about 3.5 to 4 years.
So that's the average. That's the average of your contract, right?
4 years was the contract.
Okay.
I got out a little early.
Did you travel around the world?
I went to a couple of places. Not.
Could you elaborate?
I went to South America, but I didn't get to see it because I was on duty. We had Liberty in Rhode Island. We also went to Fort Lauderdale. We went to Norfolk, Virginia. We was all up and down the Atlantic coast, and we did a lot of we went underway a lot doing drug ops down in the South America. So,
which base was your favorite?
which base did I favor? Well, I believe my base was actually one of the best bases out there. Really, I mean, there was another base also in Jacksonville, but it was for the airmen. They had a lot of different stores and malls and things like that. But the our base had the similar things. So I would say our base, the Mayport base, was probably one of the best ones.
Of course.
Yeah.
How did you stay in touch with your family?
That was kind of hard because when you're underway, there's no cell phones, there's no cell phone service. You out there in the middle of the ocean on the ship, so that was pretty hard. But
they didn't have any mail that flew in or flew out.
Yeah, we had a supply helicopters come in with our mail. I think it was once a week, but I wasn't good at writing letters.
What was the food like?
Man, now that the food was the bomb. It was I mean they cooked decent food on the ship. Yeah. No, they really succeeded. I mean, I gained a lot of weight in the Navy. I did. Chicken cordon bleu, ribs. I mean, you had your options, whatever you wanted. It was there. Pot
so y'all
roast.
putting y'all request and y'all cooking?
No, they just had their own menu, and I'm telling you, some of the best food I ever had. Really. And you can go for seconds. It was just like all you can eat buffet.
Did you feel pressure or stress?
Oh yeah, I did because in the military, advancement is very serious, and the requirements for advancement are super hard. So you have to basically understand and try to get the understanding of the things that they want you to advance in, even if it's not in your area of expertise. Mm-hmm. And that was difficult for me because I had to learn about being a fireman when I was an electrician. And in order for me to advance to my next pay grade up, I had to learn about being a fireman. So.
Was there something special you did for good luck?
I didn't even think about luck in the military because it was, and I didn't like that.
Do you recall any particularly humor or unusual events? Do you recall any funny moments in the military?
Oh yeah, a lot of funny moments. One funny moment was we were in boot camp, and I think it was a setup, but I used to smoke back in the days, and I think everybody who pretty much went in the Navy at that time was smoking. And there was a fresh pack of Newports just sitting right by our barracks door, and they sent message back because I was what you call the A-Rock. I was the one who sung the cadence, and so they sent all the way back. The word just traveled from person to person all the way back to me, and they was like, "Pick up the cigarettes." So we marching, and I did a smooth move and swope up the cigarettes. And all of a sudden, we get up to the barracks, and they want to tear down the whole unit. And I didn't keep the cigarettes, so I didn't have the cigarettes on me. But what I had was, I had snuck some bubble gum in there, and I had stuck it down the post of my bed, and I had a nice little threaded around each bubble gum, and they caught me with the bubble gum, and that I got it sent to IT, which is intensive training.
Man, it must have sucked.
Well, it was funny. Everybody laughed when I got to IT. Even the sergeants couldn't help but laugh. They was like, "So what you here for?" And then they read my report, and it's like he got caught with 6 pieces of gum stuck in his bedpost with a shoestring tied up. I had it nice and neat too. That's why they couldn't help but laugh. But that was a funny moment for me because, we just I guess that was so creative for them. They never would have thought it.
How was physical training?
Oof, which one? I went to 3 of them, and then I ended up going to advanced training with the Navy SEALs.
All 3 of them.
Well, the IT intensive training was it wasn't bad. It was like you working out for 2 hours, doing whatever exercises that they wanted you to do, and for 2 hours you basically worked out, and if you did good, you passed, and that was it. But if you go to 3 ITs, you have to go to 1 advanced training, and passing that one is almost slim to none.
How was it? Like, what did they make you do?
That one I cried.
In the Marines, I know like that's the toughest in the Navy. Period.
What's that?
The Marines.
Well, the Marines, yeah. If once you go, from what I was told, if you go to a Marine boot camp, you don't have to go to any other boot camp. But if you want to, like, say for instance, I was in the Navy, and if I wanted to switch over to the Army, I would have to go to the Army boot camp. But if you went to the Marines boot camp, you would never have to go to boot camp ever again.
Why do you think that is?
Well, it's because the Marines, they mess with your psyche. It's more psychological. And a lot of the people, they already tell you, a lot of when I went to I ended up going to the Navy SEAL boot program, which was that was worse than anything you could ever imagine, because that 3-day not sleep turned into 2 weeks. And just for me going to that training, I could tell you that a lot of people won't make it out of it. The first thing they told us is either one person is going to die or he's going to quit. And when that happens, that's when you all can sleep. So basically I had to work out. We ate off the floor, whatever. I mean, we had not even 5 minutes. It seemed like 5 seconds to eat whatever scraps they threw on the floor. It was rough. It was what they call hell week. So, and it was hell. Cold.
What were some of the pranks that you and others would pull?
Well, the basic pranks. The one we used to, I mean, it's not funny now, but I used to take a cup of hot water, and I would stick the person's hands in it, and while he was in the deep sleep, and they would actually wet the bed. See, because that feeling causes a reaction.
I thought it was cold water though.
No, it's warm water. Cold water wakes him up. Warm water makes him release, unfortunately.
Did you think of the officers as fellow soldiers?
Yeah, some of them. I mean, just like anywhere, you have some enemies, or some people that you wouldn't like. But when it all came down to it, we all had to do what we had to do. We had a job to do, and that was it. So my job was to ensure that the equipment was working properly and functioned properly as far as electrical was concerned, and we had no breakdowns when we went underway.
Do you recall the day your service ended?
Oh yeah, I recall it. It wasn't pretty. The captain wasn't happy with me because of the Navy SEAL training that I had, and I applied for a hardship discharge because I couldn't afford for my family to eat or even have a place to live. So I applied for the hardship, and he basically told me the day that I got out that I'm going to make it to where you can't even work at a McDonald's. And I said to him, well, that's good, because I don't think I'm planning to go work for McDonald's. And that really made him upset, so he basically made me leave everything that the Navy issued me right there. So, as a punishment. But that was my time getting out.
Where were you?
I was in Kings Bay, Georgia. Now the funny thing about that day when he got me out, when he let me out, was that we were underway, and we weren't stationed in our at where we normally was based, where our base was. So I'm in a place where I don't know where I'm at, in the middle of Georgia. They put me out at the gate, and they told everybody on the ship not to give me a ride back to Mayport. So luckily, I had friends loyal who don't listen, of course, and they told me to go down the street and hide behind the bushes, and they picked me up from there and dropped me off to the Greyhound station. But my experience in the Navy, I had good and bad. My leaving was bad because I had a choice to make. I had to either feed my family, go out there and try to make a way to feed my family myself, or suffer and allow them to make them suffer, and and hang in there. But so I made my choice, and basically, when I got out of the Navy, I didn't think I gained anything from the Navy when I went in and when I got out. But when I actually got out, I realized I had changed. And the reason I changed was because the Navy actually gave me discipline. The boot camp and just the aggravation I had on the inside actually it calmed me down, because I had a real anger management problem.
What did you do in the days and weeks afterwards?
Days and weeks, man, I slept. I don't think I went looking for a job for about a month, just because in the Navy, like I say, when you're on that ship, you have duty every day at a certain hour. So either you had the graveyard shift or you had early in the morning. It don't matter. You had duty. So it was kind of like you worked continuously, 24 hours, a day. You could possibly just be working. So I just slept.
Did you go to school in the Navy?
No, I didn't take on that opportunity. I don't think I would even had the time to go to school, because it's a lot of electrical components on the ship, and you have to make sure every day that those things are functioning well. So my job ended, I started at 7 and I ended at 7, and then like 9 o'clock I would have duty. So.
Did you make any close friendships while in the service?
Yeah, I mean, everybody in my barracks was we were all friends. So, I unfortunately, I'm just not a good person when it comes to keeping up with people. So when I got out, and I didn't keep up with any other guys. But I actually seen one of the guys who was in my barracks at Disney World with his family. So that was kind of a neat to see him, and we remember each other.
Did you join any veterans organizations?
No, when I left the Navy, I left the Navy, and I actually I'm eligible for a lot of the veteran services that they have now, but I'm a man that I survive on my own, so I've been surviving on my own all this time, and if I need it, it's there. But right now I don't need it.
If you could do it all over again, would you?
Yeah, I actually would. I would do it all over again, but for the simple reason that I didn't take advantage of everything that the Navy had for me. It was all based on my immaturity. I was immature when I went in, and I always had this mentality that I was grown and nobody could tell me anything. So, and of course, I had an anger management problem. So if you did tell me something, we was gonna fight. The Navy broke all of that out. You know what I'm saying? And if I would, the one thing that I didn't do is I didn't ask questions. I always just went my day-to-day following everybody else. And I missed a whole lot of things because I didn't ask questions. So just to have that experience and actually experience the Navy in its full quality, yeah, I would do it again, knowing what I know now.
Would you stay in longer?
Oh yeah, I would have stayed in longer. There was a lot of things that I did on my part to cause my family to suffer. But like I say, it was immaturity. I didn't know. I was young anyway when I had him. You know what I'm saying? And then of course, me growing up the way I did, I had to fend for myself since I was 16. So I didn't realize I was immature till I got out. And yeah, like I say, I would definitely try everything again.
Do you think the military has changed since you left it?
Yeah, because now before I was about to leave, they were actually about to they was trying to do this thing to where they would do marriage counseling with the young guys on the ship who was thinking about being married, because that was a big issue when I was in there. Guys was married and they couldn't take care of their families on the pay rate that we were at. So they would have to actually get permission from the captain to get married. So it's a lot. It's switching up a lot.
Do you agree with that? Asking the captain.
Well, when you think about, I mean, for me, I felt like it's at their best interest, because a lot of people would actually, that's when they go into into the Navy, they hear, oh, they give you $700 more if you get married a month. Mm-hmm. And so that first thing they do is they go look for them a wife. And it's like, now you stuck with a wife that you have to pay for living off base, because they're not going to give her a housing on base. They and then the medical, they said, was free for your wife when you just to get you in there, but turns out it's not free for your wife. Your wife still has to pay a premium. The only thing that was free was you. Your eating and your living is free, but where's your family going to live? So, all of that pays account. I mean, one thing they always tell you is when you get in the Navy or any military branch is forget whatever the recruiter told you to get you here, because he lied. So basically that's what it was about, and I believe the Navy has changed for the better. They make it easier for people to stay in.
Do you agree with what is going on right now?
I believe the war is switching over to the right track. Where we were before, I didn't agree with, but now that we're actually taking the war to the proper place, I'm fine with it, because it was a threat. They are a threat. You know what I'm saying? Al Qaeda is a threat, and we should have been there to begin with. But as far as the war in Iraq, I totally didn't agree with it, because I felt like we was diverting our energy to something we had no business diverting our energy to.
Would you fight in the war?
Which war?
All right.
No, definitely not. I would not fight in the Iraq war. And this is not me not being patriotic. It's because I got to take an accountability of my family. Now, there's a lot of guys out there that left their family and didn't come back to their family. And the military, like I said, 95% military, 5% family. That 5% also means income too. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to take care of your family the way that you take care of your family. And right now, if they tell me I had to go, I'm Ali all day. Put me in jail. But at least I'll have an opportunity to get back to my family. You send me over there, I could get sniped or roadside bomb, because they can't stop it. They don't know who's the person that's going to blow them up next. So, no, I definitely wouldn't go over there.
Would you enlist into a different branch if you had chance to? I
tried to go into the Air Force to begin with, because I heard that was the easiest branch that you could ever go to.
If you don't mind me asking, how come we didn't get in?
I was troubled youth, and I had a burglary charge on my record. Now, I wasn't charged, and I didn't even know the thing was on there, because I never went to court for it. Mm-hmm. But apparently, because I was with the guys who was charged with the burglary at the time of the arrest, they put that on my record too. But they never charged me with it, but they just put it on my record. And because that was on my record, I wasn't able to get into the Marines, the Army, or the Air Force.
What about National Guard?
Never thought of it.
Would you go into National Guard? Why not?
Because it's like the Navy, but you know, with less restrictions. And the one thing I didn't like about the Navy was going underway. Those waves were so rough that it would give me motion sickness. So,
Did you were the ships big enough for you guys to move around?
oh, it was, the ships were like, you know, small towns. You know, my ship per se had 4 different levels. You know, we had the girls on the bow of the ship, and we was on the back of the ship. So you know, it was a decent sized ship.
Did they ever let you guys jump off the ship and into the water?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, they have to have snipers in boats around us. You know, in a big circle.
Just in case a shark comes by.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I really do forget they own.
I mean, to me, I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't jump off I had the opportunity, but I didn't jump because you know, with me, I probably would have landed on the shark's head with my luck.
Is there anything that you'd like to add that I missed?
Yeah, I would like to add that nobody should base the military experience on just one opinion, because a lot of people have good experiences with the military, and a lot of people have bad experiences. Just one thing you have to do is make sure that when you do go to the military, if you do go to the military, you have an open mind, you listen, and you ask the questions, as many questions as you need to ask, and to take more opportunity for the military.
I have one last question. If your kids said they want to go into the military, would you let them?
I'll lock them in the room. No, yeah, I would let them. I mean, it's their choice. But like I say, I would also tell them my mistakes, the mistakes that I made, because, you know, that was where I had my issue. I had made a lot of mistakes, and I left a lot of money. I lost a lot of money that I should have had given to me, but because I didn't ask the proper questions, the money was gone. So I would definitely tell them my mistakes, and that way they could learn from them.
Well, thank you for doing this interview. You're very kind.
Mm-hmm.